Okay, so let's try the next coding exercise. So open the leetcode.com. So open the leetcode.com and go to the problems tab. Just a second. Yeah, so sorry for that. And go to the search question and search here odd even linked list and hit enter. So there is a question number 328 and it's come under the medium category, but it's very easy question. So open it. So what let's read the question. Given the head of a singly linked list. So we have the singly linked list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So head of the linked list is given. Group all the nodes with odd indices together, followed by the nodes with even indices and return the reordered list. So we need to group all the nodes with odd indices. So they said odd indices. Indices means so this is the first node, this is the second node, this is the third node, this is the fourth node, this is the fifth node. The value can be different, but indices is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't confuse with the the value. So value could be something. As an example, so 2, 1, 3, 5, 6, 4, 7. This is the second example. So first node is this, second node is this, third node is this. So first is odd, second is even, third is again odd, fourth is even, fifth is odd, sixth is uh sixth is even, seventh is odd. But so what we have to do is we have to group. We have to group where the question is. Yeah, we have to group all the odds together. So we have to connect 1 with 3, 3 with 5, and we have to connect 2 with 4, and then we will have to join both odd and the even. So similarly in this, and then we have to return this linked list, the output list, right? And similarly, if you go to the second example, the first is odd and third is also odd. So we have to connect 2 with 3, 3 with 6, 6 with 7, and then 1 with 5, 5 with 4, and then we have to connect with both of them, and then we have to return it. So how we will do that? So let's see in the diagram. So this is our diagram. All right, so just consider the first, just consider this area only. Don't even look about the other diagrams, otherwise you will going to confuse. So if you see this area, like we have this node is given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the fifth is pointing to the null. All right, so what we have to do, we have to connect 1 with 3, 3 with 5. All right, so we have to connect 1 with 3 and 3 with 5, and we have to connect 2 with 4, and we have only one head is given which is pointing to the starting of the node. So if head is given and it is a singly linked list, and if we will traverse in a single direction, let's suppose we are starting traversing, so we can connect, okay, head is equal to head dot next. So if we connect head dot next means 2, dot next means 3, so we can connect 1 with 3. But if we connect head dot next, then we are connecting 1 to 3, but we are losing this second pointer. We are losing the second node. So because of this problem, we have to use the two pointer approach. We have to use the two pointer approach. All right. So we will take a two pointer. One is the odd pointer, one is the even pointer. So for odd pointer will point to this node, even pointer is point to the second node. Now what we will do, we will point odd odd pointer. So what we have to do, we have to connect 1 with the 3. So how you are going to connect 1 with the 3? Odd dot next. So odd dot next means you are pointing 1 with 3. So odd dot next. But still 2 is pointing to 3 and 3 is pointing to 4 and 4 is pointing to 5. So using one operation, odd dot next, you are pointing 1 to 3, which is perfectly fine. Okay, now what you have to do? Now you have to point 2 to 4. Currently 2 is pointing to 3, so you have to point 2 to 4. So how you are going to point it? So even dot next. So even is equal to even dot next. So if even is equal to even dot next, so now even is going to point to 4, but 3 will going to point to 4. So now 1 is pointing to 3, 3 is pointing to 4, and 2 is also pointing to 4 because even dot next. Now we will do earlier odd is here, even is here. All right. So we are increasing our pointer. So odd is equal to odd dot next, even is equal to even dot next. Now odd is here and even is here. Now again, same thing we will do. So odd is equal to, we have to point 3 to 5. Odd is equal to odd dot next dot next. The same thing which we did. Odd is equal to odd dot next dot next. So now 3 will point to 5, but 4 still pointing to 5. Now we have to point 4 with the null. So 4 with the null means even dot next dot next. So we have to point even dot next dot next. So right. So we get these things because we have attached 135 and we attach 2 to 4. But we have to attach this odd with this two. All right. So what we can do? Odd dot next. So whatever is the odd, because now odd is at the end. So odd dot next will point to this two. So we need some pointer here. So where whenever we start with even, because because we have to connect with 5 with 2, so we will store this even variable in some another pointer variable, maybe in temp variable or some variable. So let's try to write the code. And if you scroll down, the number of nodes in the linked list in the range from 0. So there should be like uh, there are some base case scenario. One base case scenario is if there are only one node. If there is only one node, then you have to return directly that node. If there are two nodes, so this node and this node, if there are two nodes, then you don't need to do anything. Then again you have to uh, return the head. All right. So let's first write the base cases. So because we can have the zero node as well. So if head is none means we have zero node. Or if head is none, what we have to do? We will just return the head. All right. But also, or if head dot next is none. Head dot next is none means head dot next. So 1 minute. So if you have only one node, so that is the head. If head dot next, and this is pointing to the null. If head dot next is null, then we have to return only that. If head dot next is none, then we have to return head. Or head dot next is none, which means if we have two nodes, so node number one, and node number two. If we have only two nodes, so it is pointing to this, and this is pointing to, then we don't need to connect because all odds are at one place and all evens are at one place, so we don't need to do anything, right? So if head dot next is none, then we will return the head. Otherwise, what we will do, we have to, so let's remove this. So what we have to do, so we will take the two pointers, right? So we are going to take the two pointers. One is odd and one is even pointer. All right. So one is odd, one is even. So odd pointer is equal to head, because odd will point to the head only, and even will point to the head dot next. Even will point to the head dot next. Fine. So even will point to the head dot next. So even is pointing to the head dot next. So what next? So now what we have to do? We have to connect one with the three. So we have to run some loop. So let's suppose we have to run some loop. We don't know the condition here right now, right? So what we have to do? Odd odd dot next. So odd dot next. Odd is equal to odd dot next is equal to odd dot next is equal to odd dot next dot next. Odd dot next dot next. So we have to connect odd next pointer with the odd dot next dot next. So now one is connected with three. What about the even? So even is still pointing to the three, but we need even to four. So even dot next should be even dot next should be even dot next should be even dot next dot next. So even dot we have to connect 2 with the 4. So how you are going to connect 2 with the 4? So even dot next, that is the next pointer should be even dot next is equal to even dot next dot next. So that is fine. Now we will move our odd pointer and we will move our even pointer further. So odd is equal to odd dot next and even is equal to even dot next. And till what point we have to run this loop? Till we have the, because like if there are two nodes, like 1 and 2. So first is the odd and second is the even, right? So even node is like ahead of the odd node, definitely, right? So even node is ahead of the odd node. So what we have to do is we will run the pointer while even. So while we will run the pointer while even and even dot next. So and even dot next. So that's it. Now at the end we will get these two things. So odd will point to here and even point to here, right? Now we have to connect odd with the starting of 2. So how we are going to, because starting of the 2 is even, but now even reached here. So how, there is no pointer which is pointing to 2. So how you, but we have the odd pointer, but now how you are going to connect like this odd with this 2? So because of this, we are taking some one more variable so that we can store the head. So head dot next, right? So we are storing the net. So even head. So after the loop is finished, what we have to do? Odd. So this odd dot next is equal to, we need to connect with the even head. We need to connect with the even head, and we are going to return the head because head is pointing to the actual node which is 1. So head is pointing to this. So we are have to return the return head. So let's try to run it. So our case has been accepted. So let's try to submit it. Yes, our solution has been accepted and we beat 81% of the people, and in the memory 99% of the people, because we are not using like any extra space, and we did. So they are also mentioned, don't use any extra space. We are not using any space, and they said do in only in linear time complexity. We did only in the linear time complexity. And how, like it's very easy question. It's not even the medium category question. The only thing is how we are going to like approach this question. So this node is given 1 2 3 4 5, and they have mentioned we have to connect one with the 3. Okay, if we do while head, so let's suppose if we do while head and head is equal to head dot next is equal to head dot next, then one will connect to the 3. But if we one will connect to the 3, then we are going to lose that even point, like this two node. Just because of this thing, like suddenly in our mind this should be like come that we have to come with the two pointer approach. So that's why we are taking the two pointer approach. So one is the odd, one is the even. So that's why we are taking, one is the odd pointer, one is the even pointer, right? So now rest everything is same. Like odd, we have to point where we have to point odd dot next. So odd dot next is odd dot next, where we have to point even to even dot next, and that's it. Then we will move odd and even until like we will not reach the like end of the node. And once we reach end of the node, we have to point this odd pointer with the starting of the even, but we lost the starting of the even. That's why like we are like storing the starting of the even as a even head, and then we are pointing the last odd pointer dot next with the even head, and then we are returning the head because head we are not changing. So that's it. That's the end of the video. You can also try this question. Thank you.